Welcome to the August edition of 71 Magazine. I'm your host, John Bryant, and joining me in the studio today is Kaoru O'Bryan, who is the founder of the Kentucky Pro Bass Warrior. Kaoru, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, John, and thank you for having our organization come to the show.
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we get into anything about the event that you're planning and so forth, give our viewers some background about yourself and about how the Kentucky Pro Bass Warrior got started.
Well, John, as far as my occupation, I'm self-employed. I have a remodeling business, which allows me to have, time to go fishing more, work around my schedule. I am an avid tournament fisherman, and how this organization all started was I was trying to find a way to give back as a volunteer. And I thought it would be no better way to help share my experiences about fishing with the soldiers and veterans. And the way I had set it up originally was I was just thinking about taking one or two soldiers fishing once a month, teach them a little bit about fishing, the gear, the equipment, because I've been lucky enough back in the 90s I was able to travel all over the country and fish tournaments. I was fishing the BASS Invitationals back then. But I wanted to do a little bit more because, I think, you reach a time and point where you want to do some type of volunteer work and give back, and I thought this would be the great opportunity. But once I started taking some of the soldiers and veterans fishing, eventually was linked up to a gentleman, Mr. Anderson, up at Fort Knox. He started to send me some of the soldiers to come fish with us, and then, if I had, naturally, if I had two soldiers, I could put two on a boat. But then it became 2, 4, 6, so then I had to reach out to some of my fishing buddies in the club to help take out.
Sure.
And then I met a guy, a wounded soldier named Gary Burkhart, and he was actually staying at the barracks. That's where a lot of the wounded soldiers at Fort Knox stay while they're going through their rehab and their surgeries and all that kind of stuff until they're medically discharged. So Gary started rounding up a lot more soldiers that liked to fish, because Gary liked to fish. And then all of a sudden it started to grow to where, I was having 10, 15, and up to now, we've had up to 35 to 40.
Wow.
So that means, that I have to find that many volunteers. And which works, and the good thing about it is if we have, 30 soldiers, all we need is 15 boaters, and we put 2 on a boat, which works out fine. Now, there are times where, what we also do is, we kind of check with them every week before our event just to make sure everybody's still going, and then we kind of plan our, time and meeting times like that.
Well, let me ask you this, and I understand that you hold monthly fishing trips March through November each year. Walk us through a typical fishing trip. What could veterans expect?
Well, it's the trip is set up as a no-cost trip to them. All they have to do is show up. We fish for 8 hours. We provide the lunches, the drinks, the snacks. The Fish and Wildlife, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife has come on board to where if a soldier or veteran doesn't have a fishing license, they're exempt for the day. Some do because they're on post, so they have little legs, so some do already get them. Some of the veterans that are out sometimes has a license already. But and then at the end of every event, we have sponsors that donate products, so we try to do a gift bag and give to each one. We actually like to. Last year we actually, gave out a rod and reel to each one that never had any equipment to get them started, and then each event they would gain more. So we have, new ones that come for the first time. They might like it, and they might not because they're trying it out. And then we have some that are repeats that'll come, a couple times, or they might come every time. It just depends on their surgeries. If they have surgery, they can't make it, but I know they want to because I know they wish we could do it every week.
I bet they do.
But
just to be able to get out and to, outside of the barracks, outside of the whole atmosphere of just worrying about, oh, I've got this surgery coming up, whatever, they can really, get something to divert their mind.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Yeah. Well, listen, I understand that for nonprofits that we spoke before, it takes a lot of volunteers to help out.
Right.
What are those opportunities for volunteers? What do you need volunteers for?
Well, I think the volunteers, I think what they get is it's a rewarding time for them to spend with a true hero. Because, the soldiers now, it's by choice, as where the past was you was forced to or had to. And I think that the volunteers also meet, new anglers by this, because I think like fishing anglers are kind of a different breed. They all get along because they're all in it for one thing. They love to go fish, and but I think the overall thing is they get to really see what these people, the soldiers and veterans, have done, and
really what they're dealing with, as a result of being wounded and things of that nature. So I'm sure it's a real eye opener for them.
Oh, it is.
Actually,
it is for me. I remember when I first started doing it, I had a hard time just sitting there thinking about after the event, because they act like normal, regular people, but then you think back of what they actually did 24/7 in a different country, knowing if they never was going to come back.
That's right.
So I had a hard time dealing with that, because I get to enjoy what we do, and I want them to enjoy and give back that same way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, as a nonprofit, I know you need funding. Every nonprofit does. It's what makes the wheels go round. Where does your funding come from?
Well, a lot of our funding comes from doing fundraisers, like at restaurants or, little stores. Some of it comes from selling our, shirts and hats that we have our own logo and stuff. And then we also have some sponsors that have donated X amount of dollars to help. It's not a whole lot, but every little bit helps, to go towards getting things that we need to give out. Like, for example, if we have a big group and we only get X amount of product from several companies, then normally we go out and have to buy that to fill up what we need. For the lunches and snacks and stuff, we have to buy that stuff. So, it goes kind of quick, So that's what we're working on now, and hopefully with our 501c3 paper, we can apply for some grants. I know we can apply to the Wounded Warrior Project, because twice a year, because they help organizations like us that help soldiers and veterans. So, and then the fishing event that we're coming up here in Owensboro, that's going to be a fundraiser. So, because we have guarantee money, and normally with guarantee money, that'll draw the fishermen, and then we'll keep a certain percentage of the entry, and then take the other part of the entry and put it towards the purse of the event. Excellent.
Well, give me some more details about when is this fishing trip scheduled for?
It's September 13th. It's going to be down at English Park. We're going to have the flyer finished up no later than the end of July, and maybe sooner, by the middle of July. And once we get that up, we'll get it posted everywhere and have it on our website, Facebook page. One of our board members, Bradley, he'll be going around putting it up everywhere. I haven't really even said anything to anybody really in Kentucky side yet. I know a lot of the Indiana guys have known about it, and they're all eager to get started, So I know one of my friends I fish against lives down in Evansville, and he was asking about the flyers, and he says, well, I'm boat number one, because I haven't even got it. He's been on me about, getting them out. And I said, well, it takes time. I got to make sure I get everybody in the flyer and how we're going to get everything set up.
Right. Well, listen, how do they sign up, or how do they find out about this opportunity? Give me more specifics about where would they go to?
Well, we'll have it posted on our website, which is going to be KentuckyProBassWarrior.com.
All right.
And then we'll also have it on our Facebook page. They can also, email us at KentuckyProBassWarrior@gmail.com. It'll probably be posted at various places, like at the tackle stores and stuff like that. So I don't think it'll be a problem getting it out.
Okay.
I think the radio station is even going to broadcast it. What is it? WBKR.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they're going to, because we just did a fundraiser with them.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I know there was something else that you wanted to mention, Melody's Memories.
Right.
Here, that's helping with your contribution, or your financial status. So why don't you go ahead and share a little bit with that?
Right. It's called Melody's Memories. It's an organization, nonprofit. It's an 11-year-old girl started this, and it's based out of California, and she got hooked up with us through our Facebook page, and she makes these bracelets and sells them for $5, and then she takes her donation and gives it to the Operation Homefront in California. So after she found out about our organization, what we did, she decided that she wanted to split that and help our organization. So half goes to us and half goes to Operation Homefront. And but her organization is about untold stories of veterans and stuff. And so if anybody ever gets a chance, I think their website is Melanie's Memories, and then on Facebook it's Melanie's Memories. Yeah, she's a very, very cool little girl.
Yeah, very determined, it sounds like.
I'm
too.
trying to get her to come here to one of our events.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe she might come to on September the 13th one and be here.
Okay.
So
all right.
we'll have some of her stuff here too to sell, so we can help, send some back to her too.
Well, great. Well, crew, listen, thanks for joining me today, and best of luck to you. And I'm sure the event will be a tremendous success, and what you're doing is just a wonderful thing.
Oh, thank you, John.
It really is. Stay tuned. Up next, we're going to be with Catherine Taylor, and we're going to be talking about the East Bridge Arts Festival. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.